So good morning to an exciting session. I hope the keynotes were very useful. But what we're going to do now here is to have a set of three speakers who are not going to talk about what can be done, but more in terms of what has been done and what they are doing, right? Which means real stuff, which actually works, which big companies have invested money in and doing, which means it's also important and critical. So, and we have big companies and influential people running these projects. We have people from Microsoft, we have Analog Devices, G, right? So without taking a lot of your time, let me call Guru Bala, who's from Microsoft, who will come and share what Microsoft is doing in this space.
Yeah, thank you, Rajesh. Can everyone hear me loud and clear? Okay, thanks. So good afternoon, everyone. I'll take you through Microsoft's journey of how have we been embracing IoT as a technology, where have we seen success, how does a customer's journey on IoT look like, and wrap it up with a nice case study. Yeah, so I think all of us have been quite clear on this fact that digital transformation is going to be the next industrial revolution. We all started with steam and water, and where we are today is about how do you bring the physical and the digital divide as close as possible and ensure that digital transformation happens at scale. And what Satya, the CEO of Microsoft, has been saying is, there are going to be about 30 billion devices that's going to get connected to the cloud. And what does it mean for us in terms of deriving actionable insights from the data that is getting into the cloud from these 30 billion devices? And how do we derive business benefits as well as social and economic benefits from the devices that gets connected to the cloud? So how do we envision digital transformation? How do we define a framework for digital transformation? What do we call as digital transformation is what we have tried to capture in this framework. So if you are able to engage your customers in a much better fashion, if you are able to transform your products, or if you are able to optimize your operations, we talk about manufacturing plant automation, we talk about connected devices, and then how do you empower your employees? In each of these four pillars, we see that IoT has got a very, very strong role to play. And if you're able to associate your business in terms of these four pillars and identify the business benefits and the economic benefits across these four pillars, then probably we get closer to what we call as a digital transformation. And what about IoT? From a recent survey, what we see is about 73% of the companies are currently active on IoT, and 60% of them are working to grow their revenue and profits through multiple ways. So how real has IoT been in terms of delivering business? Have we been only talking about it, or has large organizations already implemented IoT projects? And if they have implemented IoT projects, have they derived business benefits? And if yes, what has been those business benefits? So we've got, what we would want to highlight is about four organizations who has very clearly seen business benefits in the manufacturing vertical. Johnson & Controls, their chillers run 9x faster compared to those chillers which don't have a connection to the cloud. ThyssenKrupp, they've been able to gather data from their sensors, and they've been able to reduce their downtime by more than 50%. Rolls-Royce, cutting fuel usage by 1% means that they could save more than $250,000. And of course, Rockwell Automation, where they are able to reduce their downtime. And we see this story happening across multiple verticals, not just in manufacturing. We see this happening in healthcare as well, with respect to connected hospitals, connected patients, as well as how do you provide personalized healthcare, how do you alert doctors, nurses, as well as patients if something is going wrong, and how do you provide a more predictive maintenance around systems as well as around processes. So what we want to call out here is it's not just about connected things and connected equipments. We call this as your systems of intelligence, where we talk about things, we talk about data, we talk about people, as well as we talk about processes. So all of this have to come together in a nice loop or a feedback system through which you're able to get actionable insights from these things and data, so that you're able to improve the quality of everything that you want to improve. A lot more customers who have embraced IoT. And then coming to real world use cases, if you want to search on what connected cows has done, you could go ahead and search, and you will understand how, right from connected cars to connected cows, IoT has really changed the lives of both large manufacturing organizations as well as lives of farmers. How do you predict weather? How do you ensure that you are able to sow the right crop so that you are able to enhance a farmer's life? Up to the way where we have got BMW assisting you with the right roads that you need to take so that you're able to reach a meeting place on time. So it's extremely important that we are able to envision for ourselves the business that we are in and how IoT is going to be relevant to our business. Whether you have a cattle farm to manage or whether you've got a very large manufacturing plant to manage, it's really important to understand that business and how IoT can help you in your business. So how does an organization's journey look like to adopt IoT? I'll take you again through a very quick framework, a very simple framework which is going to help you understand how do we do this. So basically what you do is three things. One is you connect your things to the cloud. You collect data from what is being ingested into the cloud, and then you transform your data by getting actionable insights from the data that has gone into the cloud. While this may look very simplistic, what we need to really understand is what kind of things can get collected to the cloud, whether you want a one-way communication, you want a two-way communication. Are you being constrained by technology? Are you being constrained by the bandwidth that you have in your geography? And what kind of systems are you going to put in place to collect data and then to convert that data into intelligent actions so that you're able to derive business benefits? And that's what is ultimately going to transform your business. Again, going back to that framework of digital transformation, you need to put in place what does transform your business mean. Are you going to optimize your operations, or are you going to transform your products so that you're able to get into the next phase of growth, or are you going to expand into new markets? So in terms of connecting things, I think it's got everything to do with monitoring and managing assets, direct connectivity to the cloud or indirect connectivity to the cloud. What kind of systems need to be connected? How are you going to deploy those systems? How are you going to upgrade those systems? How are you going to update those systems? What's going to be the lifespan of systems and it's going to get connected to the cloud? What's the the frequency of replacement of those chips that we are talking about? So I think all of this need to be thought through before you really start connecting your things and devices into the cloud. The next is about how do you transfer, or how do you transform those data into actionable insights. Again, a lot has been talked about in terms of data collection, insights, and machine learning. So the first thing is, what kind of data you want to collect and what kind of actions you want to derive from that data, and what framework are you going to put in place to get some actionable insights from the data you collect. So I think you really need to understand whether you're ingesting, let's say for example, gigabytes of data or petabytes of data, and where are those data going to be stored? Are they going to be in terms of images, or are they just going to be a raw dump of any kind of data? And then what systems are you going to run? Are you going to use a simple T-SQL statements to get some actionable insights, or is it going to be something else for you to do analytics on that kind of data? And then it's all about a transformation of your business. Is it going to be optimizing your plant operations, or is it going to be connected cars, and how are connected cars going to help you increase your customer engagement and help you drive profits and your bottom line as well? So I think all of this need to converge into your business impact. If we are not able to translate all of this into a business impact, then we really don't know why are we doing all of this. So you probably need to begin with the end in mind. If the end in mind is to, let's say, for example, have higher growth or higher profit or higher revenues or new markets, you really need to start there and then go back in your life cycle in terms of how is IoT going to help me with the end in mind. So how is Microsoft going to help you with all of this? Again, we talk so much about security. So what we have done is we have put a nice framework in place where we, right from the device connectivity to pre-configured solutions, what we have found is, let's say, for example, you want to understand, you've got ECG equipments across all hospitals, and you want to understand when is an ECG equipment going to fail, and how and when am I going to replace that ECG equipment on a hospital. So that's a real life scenario, right? So then comes the point about how do you connect these ECG equipments onto the cloud? What kind of parameters should I look into when I want to monitor the health of an ECG equipment? What are those 4 or 5 or 10 parameters I need to collect onto the cloud? And then, how do I predict for failures? So this might look like a complex problem. So what we have tried to do is we have tried to come out with pre-configured solutions, and what we would term this as is, both under remote monitoring of an ECG equipment in a hospital for failure. So that comes under predictive maintenance as well as under remote monitoring. So and this has been done across multiple connected systems, so to say. So for example, how do you monitor water purifiers? When do you know that you have to replace the filter in a water purifier? How do you know that that's kind of getting end of life? Who's going to get alerted? So all this helps you optimize your operations. It helps you to predict for a failure, and what it helps you is cut down your service cost, cut down your maintenance cost, and be more proactive and ensure that you've got a satisfied customer at the end of the day. Nobody wants a situation where they are trying to monitor for a patient's heartbeat and then realize that the ECG equipment is not going to work. So you're there right in front of your customer, replacing that ECG equipment before a failure is supposed to happen, and then that's going to go a long way in terms of saving a patient's life. So this has got a very strong business impact, and this has got a very, very strong social impact as well. So this is what we have tried to do, where we are trying to cut down the cycle in terms of connectivity to the cloud, as well as in terms of making these real life scenarios as quick as possible, so that we are able to make an impact into those business as well as into society itself, so that we are able to realize the benefits of IoT. So what we have done is, starting from security, we have been able to help you provision for gateways onto the cloud, which is going to have that data, as well as have business intelligence systems, which is going to project all the data that you collect and ultimately have some realizable benefits for the people. I'll see if I can double click into one of these things. So this is how something real life looks like. You start quickly with some IoT scenarios, configure your solution, and then you've got a dashboard which helps you understand how you would be able to track a fleet management solution. Again, it's a very, very open architecture. You would be able to do this across all kinds of devices. If you need to connect back to an SAP system or to an Oracle system or to an IBM system, you would be able to do that. There are multiple SDKs and APIs available. You would be able to, again, do that across all the data centers that's available for Azure, whether it be in Asia or in Europe or in the North American geography. I will conclude this with one nice case study of how we have been able to work with Rolls-Royce in terms of realizing.
As an airline pilot, I know that to fly with the best, you need to work with the best. With over 13,000 engines in operation around the globe, Rolls-Royce provides the services to maintain them at peak performance. Today, each engine has thousands of sensors that can produce terabytes of data on long-haul flights. Making sense of all that data is critical in transporting my passengers safely and efficiently. Rolls-Royce uses Azure IoT Suite to analyze data remotely and deliver real-time, actionable insights to me and to the airlines about engine performance and operational efficiencies. Advanced analytics help us optimize fuel economy, anticipate maintenance needs, and avoid costly downtime and delays. A single unscheduled disruption and its knock-on effect to a fleet and the passengers can cost an airline up to $1 million a day. With early notice, our team can proactively have parts at the right place and time, reducing inventory costs and maximizing availability. Up to 1/3 of a plane's weight is fuel. As a pilot, I decide how much fuel my plane carries. Insights into engine efficiency, weather conditions, flight path, and scheduled landings impact my decision. Cortana Intelligence helps me choose the optimal fuel level to maximize efficiency. With 40% of our operating budget devoted to fuel, even a small percentage reduction can save us tens of millions of dollars each year. Microsoft and Rolls-Royce, reaching new heights in customer value.
Yeah, so I'll conclude with this. So this was a case study where the customer identified a problem, and that's where I said, begin with the end in mind. The problem is, how do you reduce costs associated with the spend on fuel? So if 40% of the airline's budget is going to go towards fuel cost, 1% reduction in that, if that 40 can become 39, they save tens of millions of dollars. So we keep that in mind, and then we try to work backwards as to how do you apply IoT and analytics to ensure that we're able to bring out that 1% reduction in cost. So my end statement would be that understand your customer's problem, how can you impact your customer's bottom line or top line through IoT, and then try to value add to your customer's business. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Bala. Bala actually heads, by now you know, he heads the Azure Advanced Solutions team here. And they also have a workshop tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So the IoT stack that he spoke about, if you are interested in knowing how it works, I think tomorrow morning, 11 is the time?
11 to 1.
11 to 1, so you can get a hands-on experience on how to use it and maybe how to develop a solution using it.
Yeah,
so thank you, Bala. And if you can just hold on,
Yeah,
I would like to request Ashwini Agarwal. So he is the vice chairman and of IESA. And if you could just honor Bala with a memento for taking time out.
I would also request you to please fill up
I am
a
honored
feedback.
to honor Bala.
Yeah, sorry. I just want you to fill up a feedback form that we have given to you. So just let us know what your feedback is. Yeah. Thank you.